CM Punk. Now, this one's really cool, and if CM Punk ever watches this, I hope he knows, out of respect for CM Punk, I only light candles with this lighter for the Straight Edge Superstar. What's going on, guys? It is me, Dillon O'Brien from The Burning Hammer, and today I am here to take you through my professional wrestling memorabilia collection. Now, before we do that, I just want you guys to go follow us on all socials so you can stay up to date on everything we do. We cover wrestling news, wrestling predictions, fantasy booking, all different stuff. So I want you guys to be up to date with everything we do. Follow us on Twitter at The Burnt Hammer, and on every other social media platform, we are at The Burning Hammer. Now, like I said, I'm Dillon from The Burning Hammer, here to take you through my professional wrestling memorabilia collection. Let's get started. First things first, we got here, I picked this up, and it was actually in a video that you guys, if you were watching the channel, you might have seen this video. This little Bullet Club plaque. It's honestly a really cool find, got it from a local collectible store, and it's one of my more recent purchases in addition to the collection. Alright, next up I'm going to take you through, I have 3 professional wrestling books. I haven't fully read any of these books. I started this one, I'm a little bit into it, I'm like 20 pages into this book, but I'll take you through the 3. The first 2 are by Tim Hornbaker. And the first one is Death of the Territories, Expansion, Betrayal, and the War That Changed Pro Wrestling Forever. It's a little bit about like the Monday Night Wars and stuff like that. And the next one by Tim Hornbaker I have is Capital Revolution, the Rise of the McMahon Wrestling Family. Now, like I said, haven't fully read either of those books. I can't really give you an honest review, but they're 2 books that I got for Christmas, and they are professional wrestling related, and I definitely look forward to reading them eventually. And last but not least, I have Slobberknocker by Jim Ross, the legend, the man, the myth. Said that in the wrong order, but that's all right. Jim Ross wouldn't mind. Slobberknocker by Jim Ross, of course, titled after his famous catchphrase. But yeah, haven't read this one either, but I'm looking forward to eventually reading it. Mark and I were both talking about, we both own a copy of this one. We're looking forward to cracking it open sometime soon. Moving on to some of the more kind of, not strange, but random items of my collection are 2 WWE lighters, cigarette lighters or portable lighters. So I found these when I was on a trip, actually, in Tennessee, and I just went to a random gas station, and they had these next to the register, old logo and everything, so I figured, I mean, they're not producing these anymore, and I definitely had to grab a couple. So the first one I grabbed is CM Punk. Now, this one's really cool, and if CM Punk ever watches this, I hope he knows, out of respect for CM Punk, I only light candles with this lighter for the Straight Edge Superstar. Don't light anything else with this, just so you know. And second, I got this one, the Randy Orton lighter. This one's got a little more of a curve to it, as you see, but this one's super cool. I like to bring this one to parties and stuff. Anybody asks me for a lighter, I like to throw that to them. And if I catch any wrestling fans, they're like, yo, Randy Orton. So, all right, next up, these aren't really collectibles or anything, but I have 2 ticket stubs. A lot of times nowadays you go to wrestling events, you don't get actual physical ticket stubs anymore. So the rare times that I did get them, I wanted to hang on to them. So right here, you'll see Mark was with me. This is my ticket stub from Extreme Rules in 2022, I believe, in Philadelphia at Wells Fargo Center. And Bray Wyatt made his return to the WWE that night. And it was absolutely amazing and insane to be a part of that crowd. And the second ticket stub I have is an MLW show from the local 2300 arena. It was at Battle Riot 5 when Alex Kane won Battle Riot to earn himself a title shot and then go on and defeat Alex Hammerstone to become the new MLW World Heavyweight Champion. Shout out to Alex Kane. Shout out to the Boumaye Fight Club. You guys deserve this. All right, the next item of my collection is something that I actually got this from a local collectibles store. Me and Mark actually went to it in a recent video. Mark got a few things from there. But this is actually one of my favorite things in my collection. This Y2J bobblehead. So it is by Rumbleheads. And like I said, I got this from a local collectible store. It's only 15 bucks. And I just love it. It's just like, I just think it's so cool. You know, it's not a thing that a ton of people have. I've never seen anybody else with it. So definitely one of my more favorite items in my collection. And I do love Chris Jericho. So next up, got this little picture. I got this from a local collectible store as well. This picture makes me laugh every time. Brock Lesnar, Here Comes the Pain. This little framed photo. It was only 10 bucks. I saw it and I just had to get it. Such a funny picture. Of course, nobody will ever forget the SmackDown Here Comes the Pain game with Brock Lesnar on the cover. But yeah, this is honestly one of my favorite things in my collection just because it's so funny. Next up here, I got this Lucha Libre mask. I actually got this at an antique / like thrift store. I just saw this sitting in a bin and I offered them 10 bucks for it and they told me I could take it. Don't really know who it belonged to or I don't know if it's trying to represent a specific wrestler. I don't necessarily think it is. I think it's more just a Lucha Libre mask, but it was very cool and I couldn't turn down having one in my collection. So of course you gotta have it, and stuffed it full of stuffed animals so I can display it nicely. Next up, we got this Stone Cold Steve Austin wooden sign. I got this from a local vintage store, so it's not quite an antique or thrift store, it's a vintage store. It's a little more expensive, but this one was not too bad of a price at all. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it, but I definitely wouldn't have been willing to pay an absurd amount, even though it is an extremely cool piece from 1998. It's honestly one of my favorite pieces in my collection. I've been saying that for the last few, but this is definitely top 3. I just love this piece so much. This is something I'm probably never going to get rid of. Moving on to the wrestling figure portion of this video. Now, there is 100% some figures that I have that I was not able to locate for this video, unfortunately. I know for sure I have 2 Daniel Bryan action figures from between the years of 2000 and 2015 somewhere in this building. But I will find them one day and I will show them to you. But for now, I'm going to take you through my small collection of figures. I only have 4, and this is a collection I started very recently as I just started getting into collecting them. I don't really know a ton about figures, but my goal has been I go out and if I see one I really like that I'm willing to pay for, I buy it. So I'll take you through the 4 I have. Starting off with the 2 like basic WWE figures I have. I have this one, Sasha Banks, from the first ever WWE Women's Royal Rumble. I saw this actually at a random grocery store shortly after Sasha, or now Mercedes, had made her debut for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And obviously I probably would have bought it anyway, but after that, no way that I couldn't not buy it. As in, she wasn't in WWE anymore, you weren't going to get any more, and couldn't turn this one down. Next, we have the Seth Rollins basic figure, WrestleMania 38 edition. And this was actually the first figure I bought to get back into the wrestling figure game. I had a ton when I was a kid, ended up getting rid of them. But this was the first one I bought to get me back into the game. Seth Rollins is my favorite, one of my favorite wrestlers, top 2. So had to get Seth Rollins to start my collection. Moving on to the final WWE figure of my collection, and this is actually it's a WWE Elite figure. This was a gift from the man behind the camera, the other half of the Burning Hammer, Mark Izzo. Shout out to him for an absolutely amazing birthday gift of this AJ Styles Elite figure from WCW 2001. An excited, young, AJ Styles, ready to take on the world. And little did he know, he would take over the wrestling world. Great figure. So happy to have this in my collection. Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was just ecstatic to make it a part of my collection. And last but certainly not least, it is the only AEW figure in my collection. But like I said, this is just the start. I'm going to keep building on the figures. But that is Le Champion, Chris Jericho, with the title belt. The first ever AEW World Heavyweight Champion. There was a ton of different AEW figures at the store that I got this from. But I had to end up going with Le Champion. He's the first ever AEW World Champion. And this figure came with the title. Felt like it's so synonymous with Chris Jericho as he was the first champion. So I really wanted to hold this one. And last, but certainly not least, we have Big Gold, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Take a zoom at that guy. Replica commemorative belt. And this was a birthday gift from a group of people, including my brother and my brothers and my girlfriend and Mark and some of my other friends and a bunch of my friends. Bunch of people came together to buy this for my birthday, gave it to me at WrestleMania this past year. And wow, just like what an amazing gift that was. So insane to have Big Gold in my collection. My favorite title belt of all time. It is the only wrestling title belt that I own. And I'm more than happy that this is the one that I own. It's like I said, my favorite belt of all time. In my opinion, the most beautiful belt in wrestling history. I just think it's, like I said, so beautiful. And yeah, definitely a great, wonderful way to end the video, showing off Big Gold as the final piece of my wrestling memorabilia collection. With that being said, guys, that is my entire wrestling memorabilia collection. I do have a ton of wrestling t-shirts, but you're going to have to go check out my wrestling t-shirt collection video to see that. So definitely want to go check that out. With that being said, like, comment, and subscribe for me. This has been another episode of The Burning Hammer. Thanks for watching, guys.